He has been a star at every level of football. Highland Park, Georgia, and now a part of the NFL with the LA Rams. Won a Super Bowl just a couple of years ago. Matthew Stafford is about to be inducted into the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame a week from Saturday. Joins us Paul, Catalina, Craig, and David Smoak. Matthew, thank you very much for your time. What does it mean, or what did it mean to you when you got the call that said you're going into the High School Hall of Fame in a state that football is such a big deal?
Hey, thanks for having me on, guys. Yeah, it was a cool call to get. I've been lucky enough to be on some really great teams and part of some great programs, throughout my career, both in high school, college, and then now in the NFL. But kind of going back to where it all started for me and my family and everything, it's pretty fun to get recognized for having a career that was successful at the high school level and being a part of some great teams and coached by a great coach and all that kind of stuff. So. As much as it was a fun thing for me, personally, it also, I hope all the guys that I played with and the coaches that helped, bring me along, take a bunch of, pride in helping me get there because, as we know, football, greatest team sport there is, it takes everybody to have success, and I was, a byproduct of everybody around me.
Matthew, does playing high school, this is kind of a weird maybe jump, but because it is so serious here and everybody loves football, no matter what city you go to in this state, does that make it easier to transition into big-time college football like you did in the SEC and then into the NFL?
I mean, I obviously have no other frame of reference, but for me, it definitely helped prepare me. I remember being a sophomore in high school and playing at Texas Stadium and having cameras shoved in my face after a game to interview me about, what just happened and how we won and whatever it was. And, so some of those things that kids playing in other states and other cities and towns don't get to, be exposed to until they get to college. I had prior experience, and it helps, just take that thing kind of off my plate when it came to, going to the next level and being able to play. And then, just the competition that you get in the state of Texas is so good, and I was lucky to be coached by a great coach with a bunch of great assistants, and they just take pride in their program. So it takes some of the learning curve out, that's for sure.
What do you? You've obviously gone off to accomplish so many things, Super Bowl winner, and all those types of things. When you look back on that state championship run, what stands out to you when you do? Look back on those memories. He played some pretty good teams, obviously. He played some other great quarterbacks, but what kind of stands out as some of those moments from that run?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me was just the relationships that you build, in Highland Park where we're from. I was going to school with those guys for a long, long time, fourth grade on basically. And, we played middle school football together. We all played high school football together. And there's games and plays and all those memories that you have, but I think the biggest thing is just the relationships and the experiences. It's an incredible thing to be a part of it. At that point, Highland Park hadn't won a state championship in close to 50 years, so being able to bring that home for the town that we lived in was something that I know we all took a lot of pride in, and being able to kind of be as a group, as a grade, we were undefeated. We never lost a game as freshmen. 7th and 8th grade, we were all undefeated, never lost a game as freshmen, and then again as seniors. It's just something that it was a special group of guys and coached obviously by a special group of coaches.
Matthew, I was at the game in Tyler at Rose Stadium against Marshall when you guys obliterated them 59-0 at the time, the most lopsided state championship game ever. Do you remember some of the drama leading up to that game of where the game was going to be played? Did that ever infiltrate into the locker room?
Yeah, definitely. I remember all that. I think in the back of our mind, we all wish we could have played it at, Texas Stadium or something and seen how many people we could have played in front of as high school kids. Tyler Rose was an unbelievable, venue when we got there. It was great. I know there were some people probably from both towns who were a little bit disappointed that they couldn't get their hands on a ticket, but that's just the way it is. And wouldn't change anything. It was a great game, obviously, for us, and I know the fans of both teams really enjoyed being there.
Were you, I mean, and again, point of reference and, scale size is obviously different, but at least in your point of reference when you're 17 years old and then, being a veteran NFL quarterback, were the butterflies the same state championship game to Super Bowl?
I don't know if they were the same. There were a couple more eyeballs on the Super Bowl than there were the 4A state championship that year, but it definitely, at that point was the biggest football game I played in, and the reason that I love, the game was the opportunity to play in those big games, and at that moment, it was a big one, and a couple of years ago, obviously, winning the Super Bowl was a big moment as well.
What has it been like to watch your alma mater go to the level of where they are now with Kirby Smart?
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I still have some friends that live in the area and a couple buddies that work for, Georgia in some aspect or another. And, just the transformation they've been able to accomplish in the last 5, 6, 7 years is really impressive. It's something that's a whole lot of fun to watch on TV. I'm traveling on a decent amount of Sundays when they're playing, but I'm always trying to catch games when we can. And, what Kirby's been able to build there and cultivate just an atmosphere of competition and success is pretty awesome.
What did Mark Richt mean to you as a coach and a developer of talent?
Yeah, it was great. I have so much respect for Coach Richt and what he was able to accomplish at Georgia and how he affected my career. He and Coach Bobo were just instrumental in teaching me about the game and the next levels of the game and motivating me as a player and as a leader and as a quarterback. So, I was at Georgia for only 3 years, but they were definitely, some very formative years for me as a player and as a person. So, really, really appreciate and respect both those guys.
Matthew, you were the number 1 rated quarterback coming out of Highland Park. You were the top pick in the NFL draft by Detroit. You've won a Super Bowl. Do you even have a chance yet to understand, or not that, appreciate all of what you've accomplished?
I'm still going in my career, so I don't think about that too often. I think the times to reflect on that is probably going to be a little bit, more appropriate when I'm done playing. But at the same time, things like this where I get inducted into a high school, Hall of Fame, or they retired my jersey at Highland Park a few years, a year ago or so. Those are kind of moments that make you kind of click back through all the things that you've been able to be a part of. I think, yes, there are accomplishments and, they'll go down on my record in some way, form, or fashion, but it's such a, it doesn't take me back to, oh, look what, I was able to do is what we were able to do. And I was a part of so many great teams and have so many great teammates and players that I was lucky to play with. It's just, that's what I think back on more than, things that'll have my name next to it in a record book somewhere or something like that. It's just how many people, I was able to play with and play for. It's a pretty cool thing.
Matthew, I know you got to go. You, of course, last year, the step back, things didn't go quite as well. What's it been like in the offseason? I know it's not quite as much offseason like it used to be in the NFL, but you're just kind of chomping at the bit to get back in the way to get back towards a Super Bowl team?
I am. I'm excited to go attack this season. I definitely feel better this year than I did last year going into it, and I'm looking forward to the opportunity to go play NFL football. It's such a blessing to be able to be in this sport at this level and go attack Sundays and see what happens. So we're excited as a team. I'm excited as an individual to get this going and see what we look like this year.
Matthew, thanks for your time. We appreciate it. I'll see you Saturday, May the 6th at the Q&A press conference and also the banquet. Look forward to meeting you.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much. Thanks to the Rams, the availability, access to Matthew Stafford. Highland Park, he won the state championship game 59-0 against Marshall. And Marshall had a running back, and Jackie Robinson was really good, had like 23 yards in that game. It was a slaughter. They had won in 45 and 57. As he said, they had not won in nearly – what was it, from 1957 to 2005, almost 50 years. And then, remember, they rattled off 3 in a row. Stephen Jones' son was a part of that, 16, 17, and 18. Georgia, now with the Rams, had a good run with the Lions. They didn't have much success. And Matthew Stafford will be inducted into the Texas High School Hall of Fame on Saturday. May the 6th.
Yeah,